Welcome to your bi-weekly fix of fantastically fun uh, sports talk from the yesteryears. That's right. We're at the Retroactive Sports Podcast. I'm Johnny and he's Andrew, and we're finishing up our run of NBA draft episodes as we are careening, Andrew, ever closer to this year's 2023 NBA draft. The Wimby draft, I guess, is what everybody's calling it.
Yeah. I I like it when I thought about this. I like it when I can't even talk. Generational talent comes out because
Yeah.
it's always cool. But then again, I kind of like it when you like a little bit of last year where you're like, I don't know where they're gonna go with the first overall pick. So
Yeah, there's way less intrigue this year. We all know who number one is. It's going to be Wimby. He's 7'3". He's ridiculously talented. We'll see how he goes. He seems to have a good head on his shoulders from what I've seen and the interviews I've seen and stuff. So if he can just stay healthy, that's the only thing with these really super tall, lanky guys is health, and we'll see how that goes. I hope he does.
yeah,
And if he even comes up to like a fraction of what everybody thinks he can be, he'll be an all-star for many years. So yeah, and honestly, I am a Charlotte Hornets fan through and through, but going to San Antonio is probably one of the best things that could happen to him,
oh yeah.
just from his career playing standpoint.
Did you
Uh,
oh somebody told me, I think it was Rashad McCants.
yeah, UNC guy. Yeah.
Okay, you're not gonna think he's so great now.
Oh, there's nothing you
That
can
that
say.
George or I'm sorry, not George Pop. Why am I thinking his name is George Popovich? Greg Popovich. Oh, you know why? I think I was thinking of like Vegas Vacation with the Nicholas Papa Giorgio, but I got into like a George there.
I got you. Yeah.
Uh, it makes sense in my head. But Greg Popovich is a horrible head coach because he hasn't won anything in the past couple of years.
Okay, I'll just look back at his career and all those championships and tell you to shut up.
But he's a horrible head coach.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But like Johnny said, we are redrafting the 1996 NBA draft. Very star-studded draft. We are
Yes. It is
oh,
incredible. It's the draft that has Allen Iverson and Steph Marbury, Ray Allen. It's got a lot of great names in this.
Kobe Bryant.
Oh yeah.
This is
Might have
kind
left
of
out the
Johnny's
best one.
redemption draft.
Yeah, this is a lot of my Charlotte Hornet pain is going to come out in this, I think.
We were gonna,
Also, Andrew, I told you I'd save this for this show.
yeah,
There's a rumor going around, and by the time this comes out, maybe it'll either happen or not happen. I'm praying that this doesn't happen. But one of the trades that's going around that'll happen is that Charlotte, who has the number 2 pick this year, is going to pick Scoot, who they should pick, by the way. That's who I want them to get. Uh, they're going to pick him, and then there's going to be a 3-team trade with the Hornets, the Pistons, and I want to say it was the Clippers. I think I can't remember who the third team was. The gist of it is those other teams get really good players, and Hornets get the 15th and like 14th pick in this draft. Why would we do that?
we're doing the 96 draft. We all
But
know,
Andrew, I'm asking you why.
we all know
Would the Hornets be like, sure, take this?
you did say, hey, Vladi Divac is our guy.
Uh, Vlade D.
I
Flop.
was I was gonna ask you, do you want to go 16 picks or do we want to keep it at 15 to get that Charlotte Hornets one in there?
I don't want to hit the Charlotte Hornets pick, so 15 sounds good to me.
Okay.
I got to heal, Andrew.
It's been almost like 30 years, Johnny.
All right, so who are we going to decide?
I
I'm just ignoring what you just said. Who are we going to this? How are we going to decide who gets first pick here?
I like my team's pick in this draft and Antoine Walker. I I want to take all the evens because I want to be able to repick for the Celtics. I want
Okay.
to
All right, so I guess that means
I'm
I get
being
number 1 pick then. You're giving
yeah,
me number 1 pick.
yeah, I'm being selfish. And remember, we have undrafted players too because this had a decent undrafted uh lineup with two guys that actually did pretty good in Ben Wallace and Chucky Atkins.
Yeah.
And future Lakers head coach is also in here too, as Darvin Ham.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right. So since I got number one pick,
You are the Philadelphia 76ers, and you're
I'm the
lock.
76ers. And I mean, I feel like this is, don't get me wrong, Allen Iverson was a great number one pick back in 1996. He definitely one of the most popular players ever, even to this day, I would say. But you gotta go Kobe Bryant here. Because this is a revisionist draft. So we already know their careers. I'm going to go Kobe as number one for this,
That
and they're not going to trade him right away for Vlade Divac.
no, I don't think the 76ers really need that right now. So
Yeah, yeah. For the longest time, Kobe was a villain in Charlotte because the story went around that he had told Charlotte ahead of time, "I will never play for you if you draft me."
I don't think that's.
But that's not actually what
I think
happened.
Kobe struck me from what I understand from him coming out and like hearing stories. Kobe just wanted to play.
Exactly. Yeah. He would have played for us if we would have kept him. His agent, however, wanted him in California, in Hollywood, and that's why that happened.
The original pick was Allen Iverson. Okay, so I am picking for the Toronto Raptors. The original pick was Marcus Camby out of UMass. I cannot believe this guy never made an all-star team or anything. Kind of the Tyson Chandler of his day, I would have to say.
Yeah, yeah, I would say that. But who do you have for your number two for the
So
second pick in the draft?
I did some thinking as I was kind of doing a little bit
Yeah,
of research looking at rosters and I looked at last year's draft and I was thinking to myself, well, the Raptors already drafted Damon Stoudemire. But then I forgot that he also got suspended and they also traded him in the future. So looking at all the information I have, I'm still going to draft Allen Iverson.
yeah. I know there was no way you were not drafting Allen Iverson here. He's one of your favorite players. On top of that,
Yes. And like I said, there was like I could have been like, well, they drafted a big man. Should I go with a guy like Ben Wallace or a Gauskis? But then I was like, no, you know what? They're going to trade Stoudemire anyway, so why not just draft him?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think this 1-2 punch is pretty obvious, and I think I'm going to make the third pick also obvious. The original third pick, who's a player I always liked, was Sharif Abdul Rahim, but I think we got to go for Canada's own Steve Nash as a number three pick here.
Whoa, good. You didn't take my pick here.
Yeah, I'm going to let you have your pick. I was deciding between two players. My assumption is you're going to take the other player that I didn't pick here, but yeah, I got to go with. I'm a big stickler for those guys who like at the last second they'll make a pass that you can't even fathom that they made, and that was Steve Nash's career. So
Maybe they would have had something better because didn't they? Oh, because they had Big Country. Could you imagine dishing it out to Big Country?
yeah, he would probably just run really slow.
Leave Big Country. I still love Big Country.
Oh, I do too. Yeah,
Shout out to Brian Reeves.
Brian
Yeah,
Reeves is the man. Yeah,
I love
I
Big
would
Country.
mess with him. I'm pretty sure he could knock me unconscious with a finger.
Every time I like, if somebody's like, "Hey, I'm going to Oklahoma," I always think, man, out of everybody that could possibly live in Oklahoma, I'm like, I really hope one of these days I run into Big Country Brian Reeves. I would be so happy.
Yeah.
But okay, you took Steve Nash. Number four, the Milwaukee Bucks. The original pick, or the original number three pick was Sharif Abdul Rahim, who was not a bad player. Injuries got the best of him.
Yeah.
Number four, the original number four pick by the Milwaukee Bucks was Stephon Marbury, and we're not doing the trades because he ended up didn't get was getting traded to Minnesota. But I'm just gonna pick the guy that he ended up getting traded for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
either way,
That's the other guy I was trying to choose between with him and Steve Nash. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Ray Allen.
Yeah. One of the greatest shooters of all time. And people don't realize because he's probably most known now when people look back as a shooter, but this guy was a great slasher and he would cut to the basket. He would throw down some pretty nice dunks.
Yeah, he didn't really like shooting became later on, I noticed in his career.
Yeah. Yeah, he could always shoot. That was always there. He always had those mechanics, but man, his early stuff, if you can find his early stuff, like his 70, oh, his Sonics stuff. I tried to almost said 76ers, but his Supersonic stuff is pretty great.
One of the worst trades ever. Ray Allen for Gary Payton. And a downward nothing against Gary Payton. It was kind of a downward.
It's not, yeah, it was not peak Gary Payton they were
No,
getting. Yeah.
it was not tight fitting glove. It was more like that loose glove that your hand's been in there too many times.
Yeah.
No
All right.
offense, Gary Payton. Love Gary Payton. So you're at number 5.
All right. So this is Minnesota's pick here. Originally was Ray originally was Ray Allen. Um I'm trying to decide between a couple different players here, and I'm not going to let my personal biasness come in here because there's a lot of players in here that I really like who may not should be drafted ahead of other players, but I just really like them. That type of thing. But I think I'm gonna shock you here,
I think I know
Andrew.
who you're picking.
I'm man, I really always liked this guy.
I know exactly.
Again, a heck of a shooter.
I
Uh,
do.
I'm going Peja. I'm going Peja here.
The minute you said I'm going to shock you, because you know what? That was my pick.
Peja had one heck of a career, by the way. Go back and look at his numbers. This dude was crazy good.
Very, very good. So I'm up with the Celtics with the 6th pick, and you took my beloved Peja Stojakovic. Oh, dude, this is kind of okay. Now we're getting into a little bit of the nitty gritty. I got two guys in mind. This is the Rick Pitino, I believe, Celtics too, which, uh, geez, I am gonna go. Geez, oh, it sounds crazy because there's a really good player still on the board that I really, really like. But knowing how careers panned out, I'm going Jermaine O'Neal.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a really good pick. He does have a drastic fall off toward the end of his career, but there was a time there where he was one of the best players in the NBA.
And he never really got a chance to play until later on in his career because he was drafted to Portland and the
Yeah,
Blazers were stacked.
yeah.
But
All right. Yeah, I think that's a good pick.
but Antoine Walker was the original pick for the Celtics, and I love Antoine Walker, so that was a little hard.
Me and you both have a soft spot for Antoine Walker, so man, but I don't think I can pick him as as the next pick in the draft though.
Number 7, Clippers, Lorenzo Wright. I really like this guy coming out.
Yeah, didn't he have something terrible happen to him? Is he the one
He
who I think?
died. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't he get killed? I think he got murdered. If I'm thinking, I could be wrong on
Uh,
that. Please don't quote me on that. Look that up. So,
oh, his
well,
wife. Yeah, is
yeah, terrible. Yeah. Um. So for the next pick, I'm going to choose. There's still some really good players left on this board here. That's why this draft is so strong.
this is a typical NBA draft though, where it was so easy for maybe like our first 5 picks,
Yeah,
and then
and
it
then
kind
now it
of
gets
just
tough.
becomes a toss up of what do you think at this point?
All right, I do like this guy, and I really, oddly enough, when the Grizzlies were in Vancouver, they were like a secret favorite team of mine outside of I loved both Canada teams because they were grizzly bears and dinosaurs up there, so that was always cool to me. But I always liked Sharif Abdul Rahim, so I'm going to pick him here. That's just a personal favorite pick. I just liked watching this guy play, and he was one of my favorite ones to play with on NBA Live.
I
So,
loved playing with him too. If he never would have got injured, and a lot of people probably would consider that trade because them trading him to the Hawks kind of gave Paul Gasol to the Grizzlies, but
yeah, yeah.
I think they would have almost had similar careers if he just would have stayed healthy.
Yeah, sucks, but he was a really good player.
So I'm at number 8 with the New Jersey Nets. Jeez. Now, I don't. They picked Harry Kittles. I need to do some research because,
We're doing all this on the fly, just so everybody knows.
yeah, because we weren't. Oh, no, I don't want to add that because this is kind of a delicate thing right here because I don't want to. I may destroy the whole balance of this team. Oh, they needed everything. Look, if you look at the roster, they were 30 and 52. But if you look at the roster, there's a lot of guys with like names on here, but nothing really like fits. Hey, they had Yankovic.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know. It just seems like it's just jumbled. Like they got Kenny Anderson. Kenny Anderson's was really good. Chris Childs wasn't bad around this time. So they just kind of needed things.
yeah,
I'm I think I gotta go Marbury.
yeah. I get it. Yeah,
How
it's a
far
great
can
pick.
how far can he drop? And even next year, it doesn't look like they still have, other than Sam Cassell, who I didn't even know played for the
Yeah,
Nets.
I totally get this. Even though
They had
back
Robert.
when I was collecting basketball cards as a kid, I had a lot of Curry Kittles rookie cards that amounted to nothing.
They had a lot of
So I have a soft spot.
they have a lot of point guards. Craig. Yeah, because they
Yeah,
got Sam Cassell, but they don't really have a shooting guard. But I think Marbury could either roll with either position. So
yeah. I mean, he was basically shooting guard in the first place. He
yeah.
was a score first type player. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Marbury
All right. So I got the next pick here. I'm trying to decide between two big men.
because you are the Mavericks, and the original pick was the one, the only Samaki Walker.
Yeah. Great name, by the way. Um,
NBA champion Samaki Walker. Put some
mhm.
respect on that.
Well, I'm trying to decide between another champion or Marcus Camby. I think I'm going to go with the champion who didn't go drafted. I'm going to go Ben Wallace here.
I really like that one. To the Mavericks.
Yeah, Ben Wallace. You're not going to get a lot of points out of him, but what you're going to get is somebody who will never stop on defense. Is what you're going to get,
Uh,
and a core component to those champion Pistons teams.
yeah, that would have been nice because I would like to see them. What's the Mavericks got going, like finishing up? They really don't have a big man. Him and Michael Finley.
Yeah, and I'm always a big Finley guy. I love Finley. I think his dunk that he tried to do the dunk contest where he took off
Oh,
his shirt and tried to do a cartwheel is very underrated.
and I think he probably would have sat. He probably would have sat a year, but you got Sean Bradley there, but you could definitely give Sean Bradley a rest.
Yeah.
Where we? Yeah, I had a. We were going over a friend of mine at work. We were going over each team's greatest player.
Yeah.
It's kind of entertaining because I'm like 20 years older than him. And one of the managers, because I live in the Dallas Fort Worth area, brought up Roy Tarpley as the greatest Maverick ever. And we
Wow.
and I know you're supposed to have respect for managers.
First of all, deep cut.
Yeah. And I know he did bring up like a point. He was like, "Oh, he was a really good player, but drugs." Okay, yeah, but you guys had Dirk. You had
Yeah,
Dirk.
it's a million percent Dirk. It's not even
Yeah.
it's and Luke is probably second,
Yeah.
right? But Dirk actually won a championship.
I think Dirk is what Dan Marino is to the Dolphins. Like even if Dirk didn't win a championship, he will still always be
Yeah.
greatest Dallas
Yeah.
Maverick ever.
Even if he didn't win, I agree with you. I mean, yeah, I agree by far. I mean, he's even his jump shot was kind of a patent thing other players tried to mimic. So yeah,
So we're going the Pacers, or even they picked Eric Dampier, a center, which is kind of Oh, Rick Smith is kind of maybe coming to the end of his career. So you got one foreign center. So why not grab a foreign center to back up your foreign center instead of saying having Eric Dampier and go with I feel the very underrated Zergis Agauskas.
Oh, yeah, we're going Zadrunas here. Yep, great player. He's probably best known as the running mate to a young LeBron there for a while. But yeah, Big Z, as he was called, was a really, really good player for sure. Yeah, I didn't know if you're gonna go with him or Camby. I think he could have. I think either way, you're getting a win there.
I think for the type of play in a way and the careers that they've molded out, like I actually thought Marcus Camby, if you would have asked me before doing this, looking at stuff, like I figured Marcus Camby would have made a couple, maybe two all-star teams, and the guy never made an all-star team.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So
But he was a heck of a defensive force. So,
that's what I'd say. He's more of like the Tyson Chandler of his day, it seems like.
well, I'm going ahead and just tell you the number 11 pick, the Golden State Warriors, instead of Todd Fuller, are
Oh,
going to
why
get
not
Marcus.
keep Todd Fuller there?
I mean, no offense to Todd Fuller and all my NC State fan friends who I actually have quite a few of. I'm going to go Marcus Camby here.
I figured you got Todd Fuller's got to be like the worst NBA name ever.
It's not a great name, that's for sure.
No.
It's more like Todd running on empty.
So I am here with the number. Where are we at?
You should be on 12. Your Cleveland's pick.
Cleveland's pick. They picked two centers and they didn't. Wow. All right. Cleveland's pick at number 12. They picked Vitaly Potapenko. Potato, Patanko. Potato, Potato. Uh, so looking, you know what? I don't think he's really dropped. I think Cleveland, instead of getting Vitaly Potapenko here, I'm going to go with Antoine Walker.
Yeah. Yep. I get it. I get it. That was going to be my pick if you didn't take him.
Cleveland is like all over the place this year. And who did they really? This is like the just, hey, let's throw a team together. Probably their biggest player this year is, or the year after this draft, maybe Danny Ferry. And geez, oh, Bobby Sarah. What could have been?
Oh, man. Bobby Serra. And I'm also have a fascination with small guys who can throw it down pretty hardcore, and he could throw it down very hardcore. Him, Bobby Davis, he throw me off. Him and Baron Davis, those
Yeah.
type of players. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't really do too much. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Antoine Walker because this looks like another team that just needs everything.
All right, it's never coming up to like one of the biggest Charlotte Hornet draft picks ever
I think
that never played for us.
did they trade this pick before the draft though?
No,
Because you
it
can't you can say you traded it, but you can't trade it. Something.
per my understanding, it was kind of they'd already talked to the Lakers and they said, "Hey, if Kobe's here for this pick, we're going to pick him and then trade him right away to you." That was kind of
Uh,
the thing that was set up. Uh, because Kobe had some really good workouts for some teams. A lot of teams were very high on him, but he's coming out of high school. You know, this was early in that type of thing. It didn't happen very often. There weren't very many Kevin Garnett's running around. Uh,
for Moses.
and also, in fairness, the first couple of seasons of Kobe, he there were some very iffy things happening. I still remember that air ball that he had.
Oh,
I think it was multiple air balls in a game once. But obviously, it kind of panned out for the Lakers. And I would have much rather have kept him for my team, but that didn't happen. So I'm going to give us another player that I really liked. You already took Antoine Walker, so I think I'm going to take.
Tony Delk.
No, we get him anyway. So I think I'm going to take a player who I felt had a very fun, steady career here, and I'm going to go with. I think I'm going to go with Kerry Kittles.
I figured you were gonna go that route there.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Kittles man. Kittles and bits. We got Kerry Kittles here.
Kittles and bits and bits and bits. And original pick, Mr. Kobe Bryant. So I am up for the Sacramento Kings, who probably is the same way as any other team. Their pick here at 14th was Peja Stojakovic, who Johnny did take with, what did you take? Where did you take him?
He's one of my early ones.
Fifth to Minnesota. Wow. Yeah. This team is pure crap, either way you look at it. Mitch Richmond, though, and don't forget about that Mohamed Abdul Rauf. Um, what do I have left? There isn't much. Where am I picking? There's not much. Oh my goodness. I think oh, I just saw him. You know what? I'm gonna go Derek Fisher.
God dang it. I was hoping you would. Oh, man. That's who I was wanting to get for my
I know
last
he
pick.
wasn't a lottery pick, but you're looking at everybody else, and none of these guys really panned out. But Derek Fisher was steady to the point where he could
Yeah.
be picked, and I wouldn't argue in today that he couldn't be picked in the early portion of the lottery.
Yeah. And I still remember him for that shot over the Spurs. I still remember that. And he's probably also remembered for whatever was going on with his wife and another player, but whatever. Um, that's none of my business. Oh, man. Um,
This is the final pick.
no, I think we should go 16. I don't think it's fair that you
Okay.
don't get another pick.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm not good at math. I didn't realize there were
Well, I
two
can
of
pick
us, and
for
we
the
needed.
Hornets. I am
Yeah, yeah.
Travis.
Trust me, you can't do any worse than what we did. So you just do whatever you
I
want.
thought Tony Delk was going to be something because this was like the first year I was like or like into the Final Four
Yeah,
with Kentucky, Syracuse. Like I love John Wallace. Like I thought John Wallace was just going to be amazing when he came to the NBA. I was
yeah,
wrong. But yeah, so
yeah. This is where it's tough.
yeah, we're getting down into nitty gritty.
There's a lot of names here of players that I liked in the '96 draft that I just personally like, but they may not have had the best careers. But like, I just have a nostalgia standpoint of this was when I was really starting to collect basketball cards. So I had a lot of
So
these
you,
guys' cards.
so you're just remembering names.
Yeah, some of these names are just all popping out to me, like Walter McCarty and Roy Rogers, and all these names are just
Great
really,
French
really.
fries, Roy Rogers.
Oh, that's what I've heard. We don't have them here. Jerome Williams, all these names. Who was the other guy besides Ben Wallace who wasn't drafted? I forgot the name.
Chucky Atkins.
I'm gonna go Chucky Atkins.
Yeah, he wasn't that bad
No.
because they were packaged in the trade for, I believe, Grant Hill, which when you think about it, you're like, oh, sign and trade Grant Hill. We just got to give up Chucky Atkins. Not a problem. And Ben Wallace, two undrafted players. Yeah.
All right. So how are you gonna finish this draft off?
Slow and steady. So I have 16th pick, final pick of this redraft, and it was Tony Delk. And it looks like this was one of those first round picks you got from the Heat for Alonzo Mourning. So let's not screw this one up. Oh my goodness. I'm just looking at players. I really thought here I'm not saying I'm picking this guy, but I really thought Othello Harrington was going to be something too.
That's another name that I definitely remember from my basketball cards.
I was like, I don't understand. And now I do understand. Oh my goodness. This is like bottom of the barrel. Now I know why you gave me the last pick. Uh, okay, so you have no center because the Kobe Bryant trade never happened.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm looking at who I think could possibly be the best center available because you need a center in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, we don't have Zoe anymore.
Yep. So, oh geez, I got two guys in mind for you.
Okay.
Really hoping I don't screw this up for you. And it's not Todd Fuller because I don't need Todd Fuller. Um, this might just be, you know, he wasn't that bad though with the Mavericks. I'm gonna
Just do it. Just do it. Just do it.
I'm gonna go Eric Dampier.
Thank you. Yes, that's what I was hoping. I actually like Eric Dampier, so I'm very glad you picked him.
It was Eric Dampier and Lorenzo White, but I
Yeah.
felt like as I'm trying to remember things, Dampier had a little bit more of a steadier career and played for a lot less teams. Not to say playing for a lot of teams is bad. It's just when a team actually wants to re-sign you, it makes it feel like you actually want it.
I mean, he played like 15 or so seasons, it looks like.
Yeah, he kind of dropped in points where I feel like Dampier
Oh,
became
yeah, yeah.
almost like a little defensive guy there.
Yeah, you couldn't say anything. He was always getting up on you for whatever you said to him. Very defensive.
And he had a little bit more steadier of a plane. Like I don't see. We just talked about this as I bashed NBA players. As I look at games played,
Yeah.
because you could be terrible, but as long as they're putting you in the game, how terrible can you be? Unless the
Yeah.
team is
I
terrible.
mean, I think everybody knows in reality, like the 12th player on the NBA bench could beat pretty much anybody who's not an NBA pro player. So,
Yeah, and he. It looks like later on when he got to Dallas, he was like, "Hey, I don't need to, do 12 points a game as his career high of averaging. I just need to be a defensive player,"
yeah.
which I think Charlotte kind of needed.
Oh, we did. We literally need everything. So,
But
thankfully, we got Malik Rose and Tony Delk, though. So, everything was all right.
yeah, I was looking at Malik Rose, but then I decided to go with Eric Dampier because once again, it was a name that I kind of remember that wasn't great, wasn't horrible, just kind of there.
Yeah. 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 And that's basically the Charlotte Hornets there that you just, they just said. But that's it. We've done it. We've redrafted the 1996
Yep.
NBA draft.
Just to go over one last time. Uh, First overall pick was this is for the redraft. Was Kobe Bryant. Second pick was Allen Iverson. Third pick, Steve Nash. Fourth pick, Ray Allen. Fifth pick, Peja Stojakovic. Sixth pick, Jermaine O'Neal. Seventh pick, Sharif Abdul Rahim. Eighth pick, Stephon Marbury. Ninth pick, Ben Wallace. 10th pick, Agauskas. I'm not even going to try and say his first name. 11th,
Big Z.
Marcus Camby. 12th, Antoine Walker. 13th, Kerry Kittles. 14th, Derek Fisher. 15th, Chucky Atkins. And 16th, Eric Dampier. So maybe we changed a couple of these teams' fortunes.
I think so. I think so.
The Lakers, I think, are impacted usually by this.
Yeah. I think they still would have tried to get Kobe because they were very high on him. But I don't know if because Philly and Kobe kind of go together there. So
Yeah.
even though they booed him at one time famously, but
Well,
they boo they booed Santa Claus like people
dude,
say.
they threw snowballs at. Oh, you know what else they booed? So in
Love.
one of the intermit, yeah, pretty much. So one of the intermissions for like a Flyers game, they did a little thing of like Sesame Street on ice, like a little
They
thing.
booed Sesame Street on ice.
Oh, just if they ever make it to like an NFC championship game and it's in Philadelphia, they do like a special halftime thing. So they'll be like, and this is the performing artist, and it's somebody pretty big for the time for that time, and then you'll just hear, ooh, and then they just boo everybody. So
All right. Nice, nice, nice.
All right.
But we did it. We did it, Andrew.
Yes, we did. And that is it. So remember to check us out. We are bi-weekly on the BICPP Radio Network, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And with that being said, do you agree or disagree with us?
And please, I pray to the basketball gods, Charlotte, don't screw this up.